never.
Bull City cornbread fan. I'm Bull City cornbread fan.
It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause, I'm the law. It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault. I'm the best, the effect, and the cause, I'm the law. I'm the truth.
Alright guys, we're back for the next episode of Secret Sauce to Be Your Own Boss. And like you already know, each episode is dedicated to a entrepreneur, small business owner, or self-starter in the Charlotte area. So we like to shine a light on local businesses that are the heartbeat of this city. Today we're at Charlotte Tattoo Company with Billy Harris. Thanks for having us out, man.
Appreciate you coming, man.
This is an awesome tattoo shop. I don't know if you guys know about this place or not. I've actually had work done here. The masterpiece of all my art was this line on my arm, and this guy and his amazing work, he did that for me. But more than just me coming here to get tattoos, I've spent a little bit of time here, and the feedback in the city, I know a couple other people that have tattoos here, it's an awesome atmosphere. It's a clean shop, they do great work, fair prices, awesome people. Y'all to come down here and check this place out. And we got a great interview today. Billy's an awesome guy. We're gonna find out more about him and what got him started and just everything about this shop that you need to know. So Billy, what got you wanting to do tattoos and started in the tattoo industry?
I always tell this story that years ago, I never even wanted to be in tattooing. You know, it came up back when I got started. Only people getting tattooed were bikers, kind of rednecks. You know, I mean, it was that kind of era. There wasn't a whole lot going on as far as minorities getting tattooed and everything. But I was doing I was working a full-time job at Winthrop University. I used to do web development. And went to get a tattoo and started talking with the owner of the shop that I was trained in. His name was John Rainey. And we were just talking, and he knew that I was an artist. I have a degree, you know, from UNCC, graphic design. And what ended up happening, he was wanting to train somebody to open another shop to work. And so I just started, man, you know, hanging out, you know, just to get an idea of what it was about. And then all of a sudden, man, started finding a passion for it. I started doing the research into the culture of it. I started researching history, artists that, you know, kind of were influencing me, and decided to kind of give it a shot. And for a long time, I worked my full-time job along with, like, after hours coming and just, you know, working in the evenings, working on the weekends, just to kind of hone my skills into that.
And perfect your craft.
Right.
At that time, did you already have tattoos?
Yes, I had one or two. And actually I had gotten, I think, my second tattoo from Alternative Arts.
Okay.
And that's why I had gone back just to get another tattoo, and then that's when I started talking with him.
So you started to develop your passion, and you realized that this is an area that you would like to build your career in and head in. So what you did was you went ahead and you worked all that extra time and learned and perfected your craft.
It was a lot, man. I mean, you know, people see today kind of what, you know, the shop that, you know, kind of built and everything, but they don't see the background.
They don't know the hard work it took.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of, you know, doing the research, learning. It was a lot of coming in, working hours, not getting home till late, you know, not doing things on the weekends, not going to family events, not going and hanging out with friends for like years. You know, it was just one of those things that you made the sacrifice because I saw something greater on the opposite end of it. And I mean, at first now, I never really thought about doing it full time. I thought it was just going to be pretty much, I would have my full-time job, which was going to pay my bills, and then I was going to tattoo part-time, just to have a little extra money, just
Your side hustle.
Yeah, and my little, like, even like my artistic like my outlet. Because then when I was doing web development, there's only a certain amount of artistic, kind of creativity I can put into that. It was a lot of coding, a lot of, things like that on the computer. So I was sitting behind a computer all day. So to have an outlet, coming into the tattoo shop, meeting different people every day, tattooing different things, drawing certain things, it was just a much more creative, outlet for me. And that's what kind of drew me in as the time went on. I started thinking in my head, maybe this should be something that I'm really putting my, all my effort into.
I love that. I started out one direction and my passion took me in another direction and got me to where I'm at. And you touched on something that I try to tell people all the time, and that is, people see the outcome and they see where you're at now, but they don't realize the work that it took to get you where you're at. Exactly. And I have people say to me, oh, well, if I could do this, I would look like you. You know what it took? Right. The sacrifices, like you said, to get to a certain level, exactly. To look a certain way, to operate a certain way, the hard work and the sacrifices. So I love to hear that, man. And how long have you actually owned this particular shop?
This shop's been here almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in October. Before that, I was part owner. The shop that I learned at, I eventually I moved around some, moved to Virginia, worked at other shops in Charlotte, and then I came back and ended up buying into and was a partner at Alternative Arts for a few years.
Okay.
And so that's where I started learning about the business side of it, the paying bills, the getting the permits, and all that. Before, I was just an artist, so I didn't really worry about that. But then that's when I started learning about that side, because it's completely different, and I struggle with that still, is managing between the artistic and the creative side and the business side of things.
Yep.
Because as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to kind of juggle both of those. Absolutely. And a lot of people, they don't realize how difficult that is. They think it's easy. They'll pop up a shop and then, a year later it's closing down because they forget to pay the permits, they forget to pay the bills, they forget, so.
So that's something else I wanted to ask you about and touch on today. What advice would you give to others out there that are looking into starting their own business, go their own way, develop their own product, and be their own boss and not follow the quote-unquote corporate way? What advice would you give to those out there that are looking at you and what you've done and what you've accomplished? What advice would you give to them if they're going to start out and do this?
I would say definitely, look for what your passion is. You have to go into it for that reason. Don't go into it for the money. If you go in for the passion, the money will come eventually, But it's all about research. What you want to do. Look into, code, zoning and all. There's a lot that goes into it. And you have to be willing to, go the extra mile in order to, be successful in it. But it's about finding your passion. I struggled a lot in going to school, spending all this money, getting this degree, and then working in a job that really was, I say that, but it was like killing me. Driving back and forth, the commute to work every morning, in 8 o'clock traffic and 5 o'clock traffic. It was burning me out. And sitting behind a desk all day, because I like to talk to people. I like to be around people and joke with people and laugh. And I was in this office by myself, 8 hours, 9 hours a day. And it was killing me. I do all kinds of stuff. I did a speaking engagement in Atlanta in front of 2,000 people last month, and people ask me, "Do you ever get scared when you're doing these things you do?" And I say no. But you know what scares me? The thought of sitting behind a desk for 8 hours every day, answering to someone else. Absolutely.
That's something that I would never want for myself, and I have pushed I've taken chances. I've done whatever it takes to be my own boss and to go my own way and to lead and to show others. And that's part of the reason that we've developed this show. And one thing I noticed about your shop, Billy, is the family-like atmosphere that's in here. And not only are you an amazing artist, and I stand by that 100%, but you have other artists in here that are really good artists. You have a waiting list that's 2 months long to even book an appointment with you, but you also have other artists in here that are considered that good also, and they have waiting lists. When you have a shop where you don't have one artist that's really good and then some, you've got a whole business full of great artists, and it's a family-like atmosphere. You come in here, when you come and get a tattoo, you make people feel comfortable at home. You can sense the vibe, you can sense how y'all all get along. Is that something you strive to do? Did you try to build that atmosphere and culture?
Yeah, I mean, going, and coming up in tattooing and everything, I saw a lot of tattoo shops that were, you go into them and, they kind of are real pretentious and they don't want to do certain tattoos, and they, kind of look at you and your ideas as, something that's below them. And I didn't want that. I wanted an old school feel of a shop. I wanted a shop that was wide open, where people could juggle ideas off of, not a shop that, you kind of go in and talk to a receptionist or a counter person or whatever, and then go to a back room and with the artist, and kind of you're separated out.
Yeah.
But as far as like having artists, that's one of the things in business, that I've seen is, you can't let pride run your business. It would be stupid for me to hire artists that I didn't think were, the same like quality or the same level or whatever, stuff that tattoos that I'm putting out. I want to hire artists that are better than I am, because
Steel sharpens steel.
right. And I'm not, I have no pride in this. My main concern is the shop. And if the shop does well, then I do well. Once I'm gone out of this, I want the shop to continue, and I can't do that if I have a bunch of, shitty, artists working around. But, the thing about it is it is all about finding artists who mesh well together and, and come together good. Once you learn the business side of things, in any business, the business side of things isn't that hard to manage. Managing people is
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, and so if you have artists, especially like creative types, that we're going to be a little finicky and everything, that's a lot more, difficult. And so you have to find people that get along well together. You have to find people that don't have big heads. You have to, find people that just have somewhat the same vision that you do.
Sometimes I tell people this, you can look great on paper, but what you giving me in real life doesn't match it.
Right.
So you come and you show me something, and then we'll talk from there.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to touch on is it's Black History Month.
Yep.
And you are a black man that's the owner of your own business that have done things your own way. And as part of Black History Month, our first few episodes of our new show is going to be dedicated to not only business owners in the area like we talked about, but we're going to highlight a couple of black business owners. So as a black man that owns a tattoo shop in the area, that's not something that's very common. What was it like for you starting out? And did you ever catch any flack or anything about being a black man and doing tattoos or owning a tattoo shop?
Yeah, and I guess before I begin, like, what level is this PG-13, or can I just speak?
Well, we've got a wide variety of audience, so let's keep it, but keep it real. But let's keep it real though. I want to know the truth.
So when I first started, like I said, it was a completely different time. I started tattooing back in like the early 90s. There were not a lot of, there were, in Charlotte, there were no black-owned shops. There were maybe a few black artists, but they weren't trained, like apprenticed and trained. They might have been tattooing like out of the house or something like that. I was the first black artist in Charlotte to be like licensed, like apprenticed, and then licensed by the health department. But in that, when I first started, I mean, I got shit on, you know, a lot. I mean, there were people that were calling the guy who was apprenticing me, you know, calling him on the phone, asking him, why are you teaching that nigger how to tattoo? You know? So, and the people that would come into the shop, you know, I mean, they had some racist views, you know, I mean, I would have to put up with that. Well, not so much put up with it, but I mean, it, you know, it was around. Going to tattoo conventions back then, it was definitely like, I mean, you would walk up behind people and hear them, you know, saying racist jokes, you know, things like that. So it was a shock almost, and it made me almost think, you know, why am I even wanting to get into this? One of the things that kind of kept me going is I grew up in the South, you know, so I'm, you know, used to hearing that, you know.
And what better motivation to prove everybody wrong and to rise above them?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so you just keep on, and you use those, you know, you use those things that are kind of going against you to kind of overcome and
fuel and motivation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad we touched on that subject, man, and especially being a Black History Month, and this is definitely an industry that even to this day, you still don't see a lot of Black-owned tattoo shops or a lot of Black artists. It's becoming a little bit more prevalent, especially up north, but down south things are still a little bit different. And, but you definitely have rose above that, because I can say this with 100% confidence. If this isn't the best tattoo shop in Charlotte, it is definitely one of the select few that are on that list of being the best. And I congratulate you for everything that you've done and the shop that you put together and everything. We're going to take a look around, man, at this awesome shop and some of the great work that's going on around here. Alright, so we're going to go in and check out Charlotte Tattoo Company and the shop and everything it's got to offer. So as we come in here, man, one of the first things I notice is how you have this mannequin up here in this chair. It's very unique. I've never seen anything like it before. Explain where this idea came from to do this.
Well, this chair is actually the first chair I ever tattooed in.
Oh, man.
So, and when the old shop closed, and the original owner was selling a lot of stuff, I bought it off of him. And, you know, I mean, you can't find these old Ritter chairs anymore. But then a friend of mine and one of the artists here, he had been painting. He found a mannequin, and I don't know if you can see, I mean, he painted the back of it.
Looks good.
And everything. So, you know, we kind of put it up in the shop in the window to draw some attention. And one of the arms is gone because he's painting the arm right now.
Okay.
So that's why the arm is off of it.
All right.
But yeah, but it's just, man, you know, I wanted to.
So you see, got all these different designs to pick from, and people come in, they probably just randomly walk in here when they see this cool stuff and start looking through here and design for tattoos all day.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the last, I would say, you know, street corner shops in Charlotte. A lot of the shops now are either like in houses, you know, set up in like, you know, individual kind of, you know, one-on-one
little shopping malls and stuff like that.
You know,
well, this is in the heart of the city. You got people walking around everywhere. This is a cool area. There's a lot of vintage and cool stuff in this area.
Yeah, Plaza Midwood is one of the, you know, the older arts districts, kind of like Noda, you know, with all the galleries. So between Noda and Plaza Midwood, I mean, you have several tattoo shops here.
And I would say that this is an amazing location, especially for your shop and the way that you do things. And
oh yeah.
You know, one of the great things I like about when you come in here is this open feel. There's no like locked off in a room.
Right.
It's open. Like someone's getting a tattoo right here. Someone's getting a tattoo right here. Someone's getting a tattoo right here.
Yep.
So You don't feel closed off and isolated, like something dirty's going on. I gotta go be locked back in this room where nobody can see. Man, it's open. People can come in, they can see tattoos. I remember being in here getting a tattoo and people came in and looked. They wanted to see the line you were doing. Oh man, that looks amazing. Everything was cool and friendly. What made you come up with this idea of having this open like this?
This is, I mean, like an old school style. You know, I mean, a lot of the older shops, you know, that I'd been to, you know, that I kind of grew up in and, you know, learned in, they were set up like this. And it's just, I think it's better for creativity, you know, I mean, and it's a fun atmosphere. The thing about tattooing, you can go into a lot of shops and get like a good tattoo, you know, but what's the experience you're going to get? You know, is it just like, oh, I'm just going to go in here, I'm going to sit with this one artist, I'm going to get, you know, a tattoo. That's fine, you know, if that's what, you know, you're wanting, but I created a space, you know, for the experience. When people come in here, see the art on the walls, they see other people getting tattooed, you know, I mean, it's a little risque sometimes with tattooing in places, you know, so I mean, you have to be open to all that, but the thing about it is this an experience? You know?
That's the key word I keep hearing you say, experience. Yeah. And if I was trying to sum up what it was like for me to come here and get the different work that you've done on me, it was definitely an experience. I've had tattoos that I've had done in California, in Myrtle Beach, and up here in Charlotte. This was the first place I ever went to where it was an experience. That is a key word, and I would definitely use it as an awesome way and an accurate way to describe what it's like to get a tattoo here.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many shops. I mean, when I started, there were maybe 6 shops in Charlotte. Now there's probably 70 some shops, you know? Yeah. So how do you distinguish yourself, you know, from another? I mean, there's a good 10 shops that are really good that, you know, if I had to list them out, I'd want to be in that number. Yep. And then there's, you know, 50 some shops that I wouldn't recommend anybody go to, you know, I mean, because you're just not going to get the quality of art that you're going to get. You're going to go there and you may spend $20, you know, something like that, some cheap amount, but they're lowering their rates because they don't have the artistic ability to pull people in, you know. And
then you're stuck with that for the rest of your life. Right. Then you have to come to someone like you to ask them to fix it. Well, we're not going to tell them that I had to come to you to get something fixed.
Right. Yeah. A few things.
But I appreciate you fixing it for me.
But you know, the thing about it is like, what I've never understood is why, like, because we get a lot of people who come in and, you know, we may tell them, you know, our rates or something, and they kind of look and be like, oh, that's a little high. And I get it, if you don't have the money to spend, then that's one thing. But if you have the money and you're just looking for the cheapest thing you can get, why would you spend, you know, the cheapest amount you can on something that's going to be on you forever? Like,
and you're going to have to pay more money to get it fixed.
Right, exactly. You know, spend the money, look for a good artist, look at the portfolios, you know, look at, you know, try to get a feel for the personality of the artist. Because if you're getting something big, you're going to be spending a lot of hours with that person. And you don't want to find an artist that's an asshole, you know, just like I've turned down people based on their attitude and, you know, talking to me. Because I don't want to spend, you know, hours with somebody who has a lot of negative energy. Because, I mean, that reflects on you, know what I mean? And that kind of gets into your system and your soul and, you know, and I don't want that. I want positivity, you know, I want to have a good relationship. I want to have a good experience, you know, for me too. Because, you know, I got to be here all day.
You got to be there doing it too, right?
Exactly.
So, back here is actually where you do your tattooing at. This is your area.
Right.
And this is the area where, you know, you draw the fonts and put stuff together before the tattoo happens. So before the magic happens, the beginning magic starts right here.
True.
And then we come right here, and this is where Billy performs his magic. So, what would you like to tell the people viewing this? Maybe give them your address, give them your information to be able to look you up and check out your work. So if anyone's interested in coming and getting a tattoo from you, they have all the information they need.
Yep. So the shop is located in Plaza Midwood area, Charlotte. It's right off Central Avenue, 1514 Central Avenue. The shop Instagram is CLT_tattoo. From there, you can go and you can see all of the artists that work here, you know, look it up. My personal Instagram is Billy Harris, @BillyHarris. You can go check out my work, you know, see pictures of my, you know, my baby boy and all that kind of stuff, you know. But yeah, we'd love to have you. I mean, if you're ever interested in getting a tattoo, come on down, we'll set it up.
All right, Billy, I want to say thank you for having us out, man. It was a great interview, and anyone that's looking to have any artwork done, any tattoos done, I suggest you check this place out. It's amazing work. Stay away from that quick, cheap. It's not worth it in the long run because that stuff is stuck on your body forever.
Right.
This is an amazing place. Billy's an amazing guy, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the next episode of Secret Sauce to Be the Boss. Until next time, we're out.
Appreciate it.
Bull City cornbread fan. I'm Bull City cornbread.
It's the North Cat, baby, I'm a boss. Carolina barbecue sauce with the slaw. I'm the safe, the cellar, and the vault.